Thank you to the Homeland Security Dialogue Forum for inviting me to speak with you today. Over the past year, I've co-chaired the House Armed Services Committee's Future of Defense Task Force with my friend and Congressman Seth Moulton. We began the project in October of 2019 and recently released the final report with strong bipartisan support. I'm proud of our task force's eagerness to reach across the aisle and develop substantive recommendations that will have a lasting impact for our warfighters for decades to come. I'm appreciative to participate in today's forum and highlight the need for sustained investment in emerging technologies that will ensure that the U.S. military remains the greatest force in the world. No technology is more critical to this task than artificial intelligence. If I have one key takeaway from our Future of Defense Task Force briefings, it is that the battlefield of the future will not be a chessboard. It will look a lot more like an operating system. Information is now our most important weapon. In the Future of Defense report, we explored a wide variety of topics, and I wanted to highlight a few takeaways for you today. First, we recommend that all Department of Defense programs and weapons must be equipped with artificial intelligence. These capabilities cannot wait. We need them now. In addition to utilizing new technologies like AI, we must also make sure our foundational technologies are well enough protected from foreign adversaries. The Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S., or CFIUS, and the Foreign Investment Risk Review Modernization Act, or FIRMA, must have additional safeguards for artificial intelligence, quantum computing, sensing, autonomy, space, and robotics. We must also force the Pentagon's hand in adopting new technologies. As you know, the Pentagon is a very large bureaucracy, hesitant to fully embrace changes to the way that we conduct battle or manage our day-to-day operations. In our first Future Defense Task Force hearing, Senator Jim Talent stated the importance of failing fast and taking risk within the Pentagon. I believe the entire federal government must be prepared to assume more risk when it comes to embracing new technologies and increasing operational capacity. Domestic talent is also a critical part of solving our national security technological challenges. We should support programs like the one created in my bill, H.R. 6526, the STEM Core Act, to increase STEM and computer science experts within the DoD workforce in exchange for reduced college or graduation education fees. This year, I also participated in the House China Task Force, which lays out the reasons why China is our most pressing short-term and long-term national security threat. During my work with the China Task Force, the experts confirmed my fear about China's rise. China's civil-military fusion strategy is indeed working in their favor. Through civil-military fusion, any company in China with ties to the Chinese Communist Party, or the CCP, is using its skills and personnel to support the Chinese government and its military. In July 2017, the State Council of the PRC released the New Generation Artificial Intelligence Development Plan, which outlines the CCP's strategy to build a domestic AI industry worth nearly $150 billion in the next few years. The PRC also seeks to become the leading AI power by 2030. While China is making significant investments in their own technologies, they're not achieving success completely on their own. Assistant Attorney General John Demers testified to Congress that from 2011 to 2018, more than 90% of the Justice Department's cases alleging economic espionage by or to benefit a state involved China. Additionally, more than two-thirds of the department's theft of trade secret cases have had a nexus to China. When American IP or data is stolen by an actor or organization linked to the CCP, it's easy to imagine that same data fueling China's growing AI capabilities. One platform that I have been especially concerned with is TikTok. A whole generation of young Americans may have their facial recognition data at the CCP's disposal through TikTok and ByteDance. Additionally, participants of the genetic testing kits like 23andMe, which contains sensitive genetic information, may have their genetic information shared with the CCP. I find both possibilities to be extremely worrying. We must strengthen protections for Americans' personal information and ensure our data does not fall into the hands of a potential adversary. Eric Schmidt, the founder of Schmidt Futures and chairman of the National Security Commission on AI and the Defense Innovation Board, summed up the threat posed by China quite well. He warned that, quote, Americans should be wary of living in a world shaped by China's view of the relationship between technology and authoritarian governance. Free societies must prove the resilience of liberal democracy in the face of technological changes that threaten it, end quote. The U.S. cannot afford to cede leadership in the technological arms race. If the CCP surpasses the U.S. in a field like AI or quantum, it will have significant implications for U.S. national security, economic competitiveness, and the American way of life. With this threat in mind, I want to highlight some of our recommendations from the Future Defense Report that will need the support of Congress, industry, and the federal government to succeed. In the Department of Defense, we must make immediate changes to our acquisition system to stay current with emerging technologies and make it easier for companies to work with the department. The GAO study of this issue found that of 12 U.S. commercial companies who choose not to do business with DoD, all 12 cited the complexity of the defense acquisition process as a rationale for their decision. Not only is our acquisition system hard to work with, it's also slow to adapt to new technologies. A 2017 Department of Defense internal study found that it takes an average of 91 months to move through the process of analyzing the alternatives, defining the requirements, and achieving initial operation capability. In contrast, commercial companies typically execute an iterative development process for software systems like AI, delivering a product in 6 to 9 months. The federal government often creates requirements for our planes, ships, and weapons of the future without being able to incorporate the latest technological breakthroughs. We need to quickly change our acquisition system to address these systematic challenges to adopting new technologies. In the Future Defense Report, we outline a few core concepts that the DoD must embrace moving forward. First, all Department of Defense programs and weapons must be equipped with artificial intelligence capabilities. Artificial intelligence will give our warfighters the competitive edge needed to calculate their moves before our adversaries do. In the not-so-distant future, our adversaries will have advanced AI capabilities, and we must be able to keep up with the rapid pace of battle. As stated in the report, quote, the weaponization of AI will bring complex security challenges. Among them, the concept that an activated autonomous AI system will engage targets with human guidance or intervention. Algorithmic warfare, where AI-enabled weaponry driven by speed and precision compete in a complex battle space, requires the United States to invest significantly in both offensive and defensive AI capabilities, end quote. To that effect, we recommend that all major new defense acquisition programs be AI ready and nest with existing and planned joint all-domain command and control networks. Though the department created the Joint Artificial Intelligence Center, or the JAIC, to look closely at these issues, we must demand more attention on AI strategy, planning, and implementation. Congress must look for ways to help the department reduce risk for major acquisition programs, lower procurement costs, and accelerate the fielding of critical capabilities. Industry also plays a critical role in modernizing the Department of Defense. The dialogue between the Department of Defense, Silicon Valley, and industry must improve to give our warfighters the best technology available. In order to build and apply these technologies, we must increase our focus on national STEM workforce. We should improve hiring pathways and increase compensation for STEM careers at the Pentagon and in the private sector, or create a military commissioning source for STEM talent. The department should also streamline security clearances by beginning the vetting process in graduate school and creating STEM incentives into the service academies through scholarships. Finally, throughout the federal government, we can use artificial intelligence to modernize our IT systems and save taxpayer dollars. By allowing AI to perform the more repetitive and administrative tasks within our federal government employees can better utilize their time and skills and complete tasks more efficiently. AI will give the federal government the tools to optimize our output and work more efficiently. I do plan to dedicate my time in Congress to these challenges and can't think of a more urgent issue for our policymakers to address. Artificial intelligence is the key to our future and will be critical not just in the context of national security, but the overall capabilities of our federal government and our economy. Again, thank you so much for all of your work on this important topic. I look forward to working with you for many years to come.